Sportsmanlike, ESPN Radio, and now over on ESPNU. Courtney Cronin, Myron Medcalf sitting in for Evan Canty and Michelle throughout the week. Happy New Year's Eve to you and yours. Got a lot of college football action coming your way today. Bowl games throughout the day. And then the CFP quarterfinals kicking off out in Scottsdale. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl between Penn State and Boise State. Then, of course, January 1st, just the mecca of all meccas with college football. The quarterfinals continuing, the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl, everything else. It's going to be an awesome week of college football, awesome week of NFL coming up here in Week 18. That matchup that we have between Minnesota and Detroit for the NFC North title, but also for the 1 seed. Yeah. Like, if you're Detroit and you're coming back today, you probably just landed got back from the airport, and on a short week having to prepare when Minnesota's had at least another day of prep of jump on you. It's gonna be definitely a tall task, but Detroit putting up a 40-burger. Water is wet, apparently. That one continues on. Let's bring in Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL insider, here to help us break down some of the bigger storylines in the NFL this morning. Shefty, I saw your tweet about Mike Vrabel, who we know was a consultant for the Cleveland Browns throughout the 2024 season. So he's in a front office role. He's a name that's surfacing for a lot of different jobs right now, whether it's the Jets, the Saints, the Bears, the 3 openings that we know of. Do you expect that teams are going to start interviewing him as of this week and getting a jump on the process?
I would think so. I would think that you have a situation here where basically you've got a guy that is in demand, and again, there was a reason that contract was set up to expire yesterday. And I think the reason is so that he could begin interviewing before some of these other guys start interviewing next week. So to me, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he gets interviews underway this week.
I believe, Adam, that the 49ers could begin negotiations with Brock Purdy this offseason. What do you expect to happen there with his contract and future there?
Exactly what you said, Myron. I think it's a negotiation. I think, look, they're going to want to keep him, and I'm sure he's going to want to be there. But what's the number? What is that number that you can come up with that's fair to both sides? He's been a top quarterback, no doubt. I also think that, Brock needs, like many quarterbacks, a good cast around him, which he's had. And if he takes top dollar, which, again, everybody should get every penny they're worth. But if he takes top dollar, they're going to be compromising, putting together as talented a group around him. So that's where the negotiation comes in, where each side has to figure out what they can do. How high can the 49ers go without impacting their roster? How much is he willing to forsake? Or the other option is that if they can't figure it out, the two of them, then he's got one more year in his contract, which I'm sure he wouldn't want to do. He's going to want to get paid. He hasn't been paid yet. He should be paid, deserves to be paid. But the question is, what's the common ground, the middle ground that both sides can agree on to make it work for both sides?
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter joining us here on Unsportsmanlike. Now, naturally, this always happens when there is a quarterback contract that comes due. When you think about the rest of the roster, when you've got Kyle Juszczyk, Fred Warner, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, and Nick Bosa. That's like 8 players right there that I mentioned, with so many of them within the top 5 of being paid at their position. If they pay Brock Purdy, if they sign him, and if they come to an agreement, they can't avoid having some sort of attrition here. Like, where do you think it would affect them the most with other players on the roster that might become more expendable, or guys that they might have to move on from, frankly?
Well, again, I think, you look players that are supposed to be free agents this year, their contracts are up. Talanoa Hufanga. I hope I pronounced his first name correctly. Forgive me if I didn't. Charvarius Ward, his contract's up. There's another. It's going to be harder to re-sign your own guys. It's going to be harder to go out into the free agent market. You're going to have to make some tough decisions on your team. They, by the ESPN system, are scheduled right now to be $14 million over the cap in 2025, which is the 4th highest figure in the league. So that's before a Purdy deal, $14 million over. So if that deal gets done, they're obviously considerably over. And you just can't do everything you want to do as a team. But That's not Brock Purdy's problem. Brock Purdy's given them the benefit of having 3 years like that. So, again, that's why it's up to both sides to figure out what they each can live with here and go from there.
Philadelphia Eagles locked into that 2 seed, but Saquon Barkley has a shot at history. What are the chances we see him play this weekend?
I don't think it's going to happen. I know that Nick Sirianni said that he has to talk to the players. They're not back till Wednesday, I believe. No decisions final. And look, I also saw Jordan Mailata. They lobby. That's the only way that I could see this being changed is the players, the captains lobby and tell Nick Sirianni that they want him to. And even that, I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I don't think he's playing the last week. And I think that we saw what happened on Sunday. He got over 2,000. There was still time left on the clock. They pulled him out of the game. If they were so intent upon having him break Eric Dickerson's record, they would have left him in the game and continued to chip away at the mark. They didn't do that. They got him out because they know he became the 9th rusher in NFL history to go over 2,000. They wanted to get that done. They wanted to win. They locked up the division. They locked up the 2 seed. Now, the Lions had nothing to gain last night. They played everybody. They got out. And even Dan Campbell in his post-game comments, said he felt fortunate that there were no injuries. He was waiting, holding his breath that nothing would happen. Nothing did. I don't think the Eagles are willing to risk Saquon Barkley to try to get 100-plus yards on Sunday in a game that doesn't matter, as opposed to resting him in a postseason where they won't have a bye, and they'll get him ready for the next week.
Makes sense. They're locked into the 2 seed. Health is more important than records, ultimately, at the end of the day, as much as there are probably a lot of people who want to see Saquon Barkley get that record against his former team, the New York Giants, the team that the Eagles have in Week 18. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter joining Courtney Cronin, Myron Medcalf here on Unsportsmanlike. Myron and I have floated this idea throughout the show, and it's something that I want to get your take on because we know that this quarterback class, especially in the draft, it's top-heavy right now. It's Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, one of the two, whatever the order ends up being. And in free agency, if Sam Darnold ends up staying in Minnesota, if they franchise him, whatever the case may be, there's not a lot of options for quarterback-needy teams. However, the Minnesota Vikings do have J.J. McCarthy currently on the roster, sitting there recovering from the knee injury. Is there a possibility that a team like the Raiders, for example, a team that very clearly has a need at the position, could end up trying to find somebody in the draft from where they're at right now, I believe it's 6, and actually inquiring about a trade with Minnesota to land J.J. McCarthy? And if so, whether it's them or somebody else, what do you think he could command or what the Vikings could command in return for moving on from J.J. McCarthy?
Well, again, there's a lot of hypotheticals there, Courtney, but what I would say is this, that in a limited quarterback draft class where there are far more teams that need quarterbacks than quarterbacks who actually can step in right away, I definitely think teams will be checking in with the Vikings to see if they have any interest in trading J.J. McCarthy. Now, they may say we don't, and that's the end of it. But do I think teams will explore that option that you just raised here already? Of course. Absolutely. 100%. Because J.J. McCarthy, would have been a top, if not the top quarterback prospect in this draft. And yes, he's coming off the ACL, so what? Doesn't really matter. And if the Vikings decided that they wanted to trade him, which I don't know if they will, I believe they would get back everything they put into him and then some. It would be a one and then some, I believe, for a quarterback. Again, they're going to have a decision to make, quarterback. It's also very easy for them to carry both. J.J. McCarthy's on that rookie contract, so maybe the best solution is work to re-sign Sam, keep J.J., secure the quarterback position the way that the Falcons attempted to do this offseason, and just see how it plays out from there, because there are always injuries. That might be the safest, wisest course of action, but that's an organizational decision that they have to make over time, and we'll see what they ultimately decide to do.
We're hearing about our colleague Rex Ryan and conversations with the Jets about their opening. How serious are those conversations, and what are the chances that he becomes the head coach of that team?
Well, he's on their list. They're going to interview him. They know what he's about. He knows what they're about. It's like I guess it's like J-Lo and Ben Affleck getting back together again, trying to at least. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And they're going to meet at some point, sounds like next week or so, and interview him for the head coaching job. And look, the Jets have not been very good since they got rid of Rex Ryan. He would bring a lot of fire, a lot of intensity. He loves football. He loves coaching. He loves players. They could do a lot worse than Rex for that job. And he would love to do it. It would mean a lot to him. And so they're going to sit down and talk with him amongst the other candidates they speak to. He's one of the multiple candidates for that head coaching job.
And there are 3 head coach openings right now, Saints, Jets, and Bears. We do expect that there will be more in 6 days from now, the Monday after the regular season wraps up. Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL Insider, will be all over it, as always, keeping you updated on the latest movement in the coaching world. Adam, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for the time.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. So, that's such the J.J. McCarthy stuff, Myron, is so fascinating to me because, like Adam said, he would be the best quarterback coming out of this year's, if he was in this year's draft class. Because you have a group, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward from Miami. So 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, however you want to put that order. Then it's like Jalen Milroe,
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, Carson Beck.
Yeah, who's hurt.
Does any of that move the needle? Not really.
No.
I don't think that this group and in the free agency group itself right now, Sam Darnold is the biggest name in pending free agency moves because he's on a 1-year, $10 million contract with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, they're a 14-win Minnesota Vikings team. I don't think that they want to let Sam Darnold out of the building. And you do have the franchise tag at your disposal, so paying him around $40 million is frankly a discount for what he's probably going to get in command on the open market, whether it's Baker Mayfield sort of money like what he got from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it begs the question about how many teams right now would forego the draft, forego getting in on any sweepstakes for any free agent, and trade for J.J. McCarthy. We'll come back with that here on Unsportsmanlike here in a moment, give you our list of teams that might be willing to get in on the sweepstakes. It's Unsportsmanlike, ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Georgia versus Notre Dame.
There's a different feel to the playoff.
Boise State versus Penn State.
There's an intensity that gets ratcheted up.
Oregon versus Ohio State.
The stakes get much higher.
Arizona State versus Texas. The college football playoff quarterfinals. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Springfield Avenue is now open. Yes, Springfield Avenue is now open. So from Kenwood to Duncan, you can visit El Toro easily, and it's open. Your favorite Mexican restaurant is open once again. After 4 months of construction, come and see the good people at El Toro on West Springfield. They've got your favorite Mexican dish, and they're open 7 days a week. Springfield Avenue is open. Enjoy El Toro Restaurant right on Springfield near Kaufman Lake, and enjoy your favorite Mexican restaurant. El Toro on West Springfield in Champaign. Stevie J here. With Nate Evans of eXp Realty, you'll always get a stress-free sale for the most money.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to the NateEvansGroup.com. Loud and clearly better. Good vibes. Good vibes.
Hey, Illini fans. Steve from Good Vibes here with Citrus Bowl-bound linebacker and special teams player Kenenna Odeluga.
You know, I can't wait to party on New Year's Eve, and my idea of a party involves tacos.
Unfortunately, most of us can't join you in Orlando, but we'll be watching and eating Cheez-Its and drinking orange juice.
Yeah, you probably have one of those 98-inch Sonys at home.
Well, no, KO, but I do have 3 Sony OLEDs because the picture and sound are so good, I can pick out number 39 every time you take the field.
So not even an 85-inch? Football is best enjoyed extra large.
Well, my 77-inch is just right for my room, but there are deals on all the extra large screens. This is nothing you want to fumble on or pass up.
And Good Vibes delivers free? That's like the extra point.
Get the Good Vibes for that extra large Sony on sale in time to see KO knock down a few Gamecocks.
ILO.
INI.
Illini fans win free tickets. Stevie J Broadcasting has teamed up with Express Employment Professionals, your local link to top talent opportunities. Text Illini to 217-359-2255 for your chance to win tickets to upcoming home games. That's Illini to 359-2255. Express Employment Professionals, respecting people, impacting business at 1001 North Mattis. Express Employment Professionals says go Illini. Visit expresspros.com.
Illinois basketball star Merez Johnson on needing some help from Sarah Champagne and Ben Quattrone.
I was going back home for a weekend and I was going to be downtown. I text Ben, can I get a different car, go to Chicago? And I got something small, a nice Buick, something that was nice. I got my car back when I came. It was quick. Ben and Sarah Champagne took care of me.
And Sarah Champagne would do that for you, too. Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERA Champagne.com.
What do we do in New Year's?
How about Houlihan's?
Make it a special night as you wrap up 2024 with a prefix menu with your 4-course meal. Choose from filet mignon or pan-seared red snapper, along with many other options. Make reservations now to have dinner between 5 and 10 p.m. with the last sitting at 9. Walk-ins are welcome at 1902 South 1st Street. Look over your menu options at stayatthei.com/Houlihan's. For details, call 217-819-5005.
Indiana,
which
is fine.
Like normal
he's
people.
He's got to know how to fight if you're going to go to Gary. But
I
think I'll just go to a coast.
That's one of my favorite conversations, lake house versus beach house, because 99.9% of the time I'm taking a lake house.
Me too.
And I know a lot of people
Me too.
because Myron and I are from the Midwest, a lot of people look at us sideways and be like, why would you do that? I'm like, hurricane insurance, oceans.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that. And lakes are beautiful. Like if you go where I'm at in Chicago, Courtney Cronin, Myron Medcalf with you on Sportsman, like ESPN Radio, Lake Michigan is an ocean.
Yes, it is.
And Myron's from the land of 10,000 lakes in the state of Minnesota, so you have your pick of the litter there. But people always act like lakes are puny and they're filled with, not mold. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Algae. Scum.
Algae.
Yeah.
Not scum.
But what? That's a Philly lake. You talking about those Philly lakes filled with trash? That's not Midwest. We're beautiful over here.
Yeah, we're but like it's like an ocean. So
yeah. I don't want to go anywhere where it says I gotta watch out for sharks. I don't feel like that's my responsibility.
I don't want
don't let me near the water then. Like put up a fence or something. I shouldn't be this close to the water if a shark could get me.
Yeah, no thanks. More than Corn, Indiana. There's more than beaches in Philly. Is there beaches in Philly? No,
not in Philly. No, Jersey Shore though.
Okay, I've been there before.
Yeah.
It's all right. Okay. It's all right.
What was that?
Did you just become a cast member on Jersey Shore?
Who are you?
Did you just audition?
It's sleep deprivation. Don't come at me over this morning.
It's
like you just auditioned. What's her name? What? Sammy? What's the one?
Sammy Sweetheart.
Sammy.
The sweetest.
J-Wow. That's it. J-Wow. Sookie.
Courtney, the situation.
I saw him at an airport, by the way, one time. It was really
Was he healthy? Was he doing all right?
Yeah, he was on a golf cart. They were like taking him around, like he was a celebrity.
He's got that Delta One status, I bet.
Yeah, I bet.
He gets driven in like the Audi R-Max in the airplane. I don't really know what he's ever done to earn that. Didn't he embezzle a lot of money or something?
He went to jail for a little bit. It happens, It's 6 months or something,
They've had like 8 seasons of the Jersey Shore Family Vacation, which is crazy.
Any good?
They're making $1 million an episode. I think they're making like $1 million an episode.
But here's the thing: they have family, they have kids now. They can't be doing the same debaucherous stuff that they did at What part of the Jersey Shore is that? Does anybody know?
Courtney asking if it's any good as if she hasn't watched every episode in preparation for audition.
I didn't. Me saying it's aight is not like me acting like I'm like from the East Coast.
I think it's like $1 million an episode they're making though. Still, like how long can you do that though?
Is that show?
Don't you age out?
Is that show on MTV? Like
still on MTV?
I didn't know they were making original content. They got rid of Real World and Road Rules and TRL. For Jersey Shore Family Vacation?
Well, they're
still doing Road Rules, Real World. They're still doing like that challenge. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They started Family Vacation in 2018. They have 200 episodes of it.
$1 million an episode to make.
All right, but tell me the premise though, because when it was Jersey Shore, the show, it was the duck phone that they would use before Uber, and they would pick it up and they would call the cab company because they were apparently too lazy to walk to the bars, and then it would always be Pauly D, the guy yelling, "Cabs are here," and see, that's me auditioning, not saying cabs are here, and that's a colloquial, and. Then it'd be Vinny in the white T-shirt, and then Mike the situation, Ronnie the meathead, and then there was another girl, Deanna.
I think it's Dina. Dina was on it.
The meatballs. Her and Snooki, and that was honestly like super entertaining TV. But like, how do you recreate that with children involved, with minors?
Incredibly successfully, apparently.
Because what you got to realize is like this generation that followed them from the beginning. They're still watching them, right? So, it's just that generation that sort of followed them. Yeah, they're following them to this point. My thing is, do you age out? Like, what's the age when you can't be on Jersey Shore anymore, right?
I think at the age that they're currently on.
Is it right now?
Pauly D is 44.
What? He's a big-time DJ in Vegas. Like that's his big thing.
Doesn't he have a residency?
He has a residency, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Yes, Myron. DJ Pauly D is a big-time DJ. Thank you.
I did say it like I was breaking news. I was breaking news.
He's been globally famous for 15 years.
In case you didn't know.
How is his hair not falling out is my question. I'm not trying to be
It's probably fake.
Like, you think his hair's fake?
Oh, a lot of. So I tell you what thing I've learned. I'm 41. There are a lot of guys over 35. It's fake. Across ethnicities, like there's a lot of dudes who people see. It's not even like celebrities. Like normal dudes, fake hair. It's a lot of fake stuff happening out there.
All right, I didn't know that.
Yes.
He put a lot of gel in that thing. Does he still do it on the Jersey Shore Family Reunion show?
It looks pretty jelly. Speaking of the fake hair thing, Courtney, I was thinking about I can't grow like a thick beard, and I've always wanted one. You can do a fake beard thing. Like there's like a treatment you can get. So I've been thinking about getting a fake beard in 2025. Like a fake.
My bold prediction
setup.
is you actually following through on that.
Yeah, like the whole thing, like the whole goatee. I've always wanted that. I can't get it.
What?
So I've thought about getting a fake one. Yeah, you can get
Who's ever said I thought about getting a fake beard? What are you, Santa Claus?
No, people do it. I'm telling you, it's in the hair. Men are doing this.
Like the hair transplant community.
People are getting fake beard. I've thought about getting like a fake,
like a turkey somewhere to like.
I don't know where you go, but it is a thing because I've always wanted like the full beard thing, and I can't grow it out, so I might go fake.
I don't blame you for if you want something, go after it.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine, like, is that hair plugs for beards? Is that a thing?
I think it's, I don't know if it's like fake hair. I think it's like fake hair people.
I'm
just like glued to your face? What do you mean?
I think that's what it is. Look it up. People are doing fake beards and goatees, and I've thought about doing it. I have thought about doing it.
I don't fault people for wanting. I can't envision it.
Yeah,
I can't envision what that.
It would change conversations with me. I feel like if you see me with a beard, all of a sudden, like,
yeah, it sure
people
would, buddy.
See me differently.
Yeah, you become Unk.
I would definitely become. I'd have to join like a '70s group or something that sings old Motown songs. But I'm okay with that.
You could bring your outlandish sports takes to the Christmas dinner table, like our dude who called in earlier, telling us that. What was his take? No, that was
we don't talk about the Lions.
We didn't talk about the Lions.
We never talked about the Lions.
News flash: Jared Goff playing like an MVP quarterback. That was great.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to open up the phones on that again. Dr. Pepper call-in line. 888 say ESPN 888-729.
Not phone calls.
Not opening up the phones on that.
I thought you were opening up on fake news.
Opening it up on resolution.
888 ESPN. What is DJ Pauly D's profession?
I was excited. Like, okay, I'll get some tips.
I mean, hell, at that point, you might get somebody who's willing to sponsor you for it. I could be doing you a solid on that, bro. Like, no, I'm going to open it up because I want to know your bold predictions for the 2025 calendar sports year. So these have to be real ones, like not that Jared Goff is, going to win a Super Bowl, because it's not that bold. Because look at the way he's playing right now. Look at the way that the Lions are playing, putting up a 40-burger last night. Multiple times this season they've done that without a turnover. But, bring them and make them good. You could also tweet to us at Medcalf by ESPN is Myron's handle, mine at Courtney R. Cronin. I promise at some point we're going to get into who's going to trade for J.J. McCarthy and would it be the wisest decision in the offseason for quarterback-needy teams. It's on Sportsmanlike, Courtney Cronin, and the beardless Myron Medcalf here on ESPN Radio.
This is ESPN Radio.
Chris Canty, listening to him in the morning. I'm waking up. What did Chris Canty say this morning? I mean, I love him.
On your radio, your computer, your smart speaker, or on the ESPN app.
But some stuff that he has been saying recently has been out there.
We're everywhere you are. This is ESPN Radio.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have. Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text STAY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text STAY to 42424. That's STAY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
What are we doing New Year's?
How about Houlihan's?
Make it a special night as you wrap up 2024 with a prefix menu with your 4-course meal. Choose from filet mignon or pan-seared red snapper, along with many other options. Make reservations now to have dinner between 5 and 10 p.m. with the last sitting at 9. Walk-ins are welcome at 1902 South 1st Street. Look over your menu options at stayatthei.com/Houlihan's. For details, call 217-819-5005.
Illinois basketball season is underway. Single game tickets to see your Fighting Illini at State Farm Center are on sale now at fightingillini.com. Great seats are still available. Lock in your tickets for big games against Big Ten opponents before they're gone. Don't miss your chance to see the winningest team in the Big Ten Conference over the last 5 years. Be part of the atmosphere and get tickets at fightingillini.com.
Champaign County Crime Stoppers has been working to keep our neighborhoods safe since 1986, but we've never done it alone. We rely on the generous support of those that recognize Crime Stoppers as an investment in a safer community for our friends, our family, and our collective future. Your generous support directly funds cash rewards for anonymous tips that lead to arrests. Join us by making a tax-deductible donation today that leads to a brighter, safer tomorrow. Donate now at ChampaignCountyCrimeStoppers.org.
There's a new showroom at Flooring Surfaces in Champaign. Choose your next floor in an incredible space filled with beautiful hardwoods, durable waterproof vinyl, elegant porcelain tiles, and the finest carpets in Central Illinois. Find inspiration around every corner. And when you need help, Flooring Surfaces offers free measuring, free design assistance, and expert advice. Visit Flooring Surfaces today at 401 Mercury Drive in Champaign.
Flooring Surfaces, your first stop.
Sarah Champagne Managing Partner Ben Quattrone.
We're always looking for people. You can go online and apply on our website. We never know what we're going to need. We're always expanding. We're always building more and growing our business. If we don't need a person and they come along and we find out that they're an eagle, they're a star, we'll hire them. We'll put them somewhere and wait for the spot we're going to have them working.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com.
Hey, could you tell me what aisle your car batteries are in?
Sure, I'll go grab one for you. Here's your battery. It might be expired, but oh well. Also, the brand isn't that great, but it should work for at least a year or two, maybe. Anyways, I went ahead and charged you for it, and here's the battery. Okay, have a great day.
What just happened?
Sometimes good things are hard to find, but they're worth the wait. Make the trip out to Interstate All Battery Center at 2504 North Mattis Avenue and get all of your battery needs taken care of by the trusted professionals. Give them a call today at 355-4855.
Trial 50.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle.
So we've done a little investigative research here at Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPNU. Courtney Cronin, Myron Metcalf, presented by Progressive Insurance. Tell the people how much the beard that you found on Amazon that you want.
It was like $13, and it made me rethink the fake beard thing. Like I don't know. After our conversation off air, I feel like it's a bad idea. So I don't know if I'm gonna go with the fake beard.
I think if you're gonna get one, you need to go get like hair plugs
like the real
for the beard, like
not on Amazon for $13.
My thought is that I'm going to see Myron like at a college basketball game on the sidelines, and someone's going to knock into him when he's in the middle of doing an interview and like kind of throw him off, and all of a sudden the beard's sideways, and he's talking to Jim Larinaga, and his beard's like over here.
Looking like an undercover detective for some reason.
Not going to be talking to Larinaga anymore.
Why? Is that the coach? Why?
Yeah, he's done. He's done. Yeah, he quit. He left.
Well, that tells you where my mind is on college basketball right now in the ACC, which has been in a brutal state.
It would be really funny. Myron's mid-interview and it just starts falling off. Just halfway down his face.
Because he's sweating.
and I'm holding it on like I'm trying to talk to somebody. Yeah, the fake beard, I've been convinced that it's not a good idea, but I'm just jealous. I want the full beard.
Am I seeing something, Pat? Do you have a beard, or are you wearing something around your?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I have a fake beard. Yeah, I had one on my desk, so I figured I'd put it on in honor of Myron.
I mean, okay, Myron, is that what you want? Like it to look like that?
I don't even. I can't see Pat. I don't.
It's pretty good.
Okay, well,
I would love to. Yeah, I want a realistic one.
Yeah,
not a
realistic.
I could afford more than $13 beard, so maybe I need to rethink this plan.
The thing is, the glue that you put it on with is the same price that we found out from the Amazon.
It's gonna be less than the doctor's appointments too to clear off whatever market leaves. I'm sure too. So
yeah, we're gonna be rethinking.
It was a good thought though.
Yeah, no, I mean it was definitely solid. He did a lot of research, independent research. So a lot of teams are going to be doing some independent research. How's that for a transition?
I love that. Good job. That's
thank
a good
you.
transition.
It's like I'm a professional or something.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy is injured right now, recovering from an ACL tear that happened during the preseason. Remember, the Minnesota Vikings thought that they were going to have Sam Darnold be kind of maybe the bridge guy this year and then turn the reins over to JJ, who they drafted in the first round. But that's not been the case this year, and he's been on the bench the entire time this season, or rather rehabbing. And it makes me wonder, because we're talking about Brock Purdy and how much this guy's going to make. Is he going to be a $60 million a year quarterback? What did the Vikings do with Sam Darnold? There's not a lot of options if you're a team in free agency or one looking towards the draft for quarterbacks. So there's a bunch of quarterback needy teams in headed into 2025. Certainly, let's list them off, like the Jets with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
After all the appearances on the McAfee show and what he says about Woody Johnson, kind of passive aggressively, don't think he's going to be back there.
Yeah, no.
The Vegas Raiders, number one on my list of teams that need quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson and the Colts, is that a sure thing? Is Joe Flacco going to come back for year number 50 in the NFL? The Giants need a quarterback, and obviously. There's more quarterback needy teams than there are available quarterbacks. You can throw Cleveland in the mix too, even though we know because of the contract restructure, Deshaun Watson's going to be on be back next year. But if you're one of those teams, do you consider foregoing free agency, consider foregoing the draft, and say, I'd like to get J.J. McCarthy not only via a trade, but because he is the best quarterback currently of the ones that could be available? Like, if the Vikings were willing to go that path, I think it's a smart idea. I just don't know, is that worth giving up 2 first-round picks? A first and a second? How do you quantify that for a guy we've never seen play?
No, I mean, I think that's a valid question. And I'll put, Tennessee in that mix.
Sure.
Carolina maybe, right? We'll see what they end up doing after Bryce Young's improvement. I do think J.J. McCarthy becomes a very compelling person potentially this offseason. First and foremost, Cordy, because of his age. J.J. McCarthy will turn 22 in January, right? So you're talking about a guy who 4 years from now, J.J. McCarthy will be 25 years old. So even if you think he's coming off the injury, he'll take some time to develop, you're talking about a guy who is one of the youngest players in the NFL right now. He'd be one of the youngest players in this upcoming draft. So I think that obviously works in his favor. I think the other challenge you have with the Minnesota Vikings is it's not like Sam Darnold is hitting this mark at 32 years old. Sam Darnold's 27.
Yeah.
So to me, if you sign Sam Darnold, what you're saying is, J.J. McCarthy, you're going to have to wait your turn. And is that fair to J.J. McCarthy? I feel like Kevin O'Connell is the kind of guy who, if he decides to invest in Sam Darnold, would say, let's give J.J. McCarthy an opportunity to start his career elsewhere, because I think that would be fair to him. So I think all this conversation is valid. J.J. McCarthy, in my opinion, would be the top prospect in this class.
And it's, to your point on Darnold, he's 27. That's not a 2 to 3 year contract. Maybe nobody would sign him. If you're Minnesota, starting there, because they would have, right of first refusal, more or less, they could franchise tag him. You could tag him, and I would imagine if they want to do it, they'll tag him, and then they'll offer him the long-term deal, give themselves a little bit of time to work something out, and also to find a trade partner for J.J. McCarthy. But are you giving him the 2 to 3 year Baker Mayfield sort of deal, $100 million? Are you looking towards a five-year contract extension for a guy who, at 27, most quarterbacks are just beginning to enter their prime. They don't start to hit their prime and stride till about 30 a lot of times. You have so much runway with this guy who is a proven commodity in your offense, an offense that has, invested in the offensive line and will continue to do so, has paid its top receiver, paid TJ Hawkinson, a defense that has been reworked, and they've made a lot of additions to that side of the ball in free agency this past year, probably will do the same in free agency in the draft coming up. It feels like that would be the last missing piece, and if they win a Super Bowl with him this year, you'd be hard-pressed to find that they would move on. I've said this yesterday on the show. You can't convince me that J.J. McCarthy's not on this, that Sam Darnold's not on this roster next year. If you can get some nice draft capital back to where you can then have multiple first-round picks, maybe a first, a second, whatever it is, to invest down the line, I think they'd be wise to do that. They've gone about their rebuild in a very unique and organic way. A lot of times, because I covered the Bears, I covered the Vikings up until the point where this new regime came in. I saw the regime and I was like, peace, I'm going to Chicago. No, I'm kidding. That was in the works anyways. But no, it's remarkable to sit here in where I'm at in Chicago and see how the Bears rebuild has been different from what Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell have done in Minnesota, and finding the right quarterback fit. Even when it was with Kirk Cousins, Kirk had some of the best numbers of his career under Kevin O'Connell. And so that's why I don't anticipate that Sam Darnold, like 1 year this in line for the 1 seed and 1 year it'll fall off. I think that they could confidently say, we want to do right by J.J. McCarthy. We want to do right by Sam Darnold. We want to do right by ourselves. If there's a quarterback needy team, and if you're the Raiders, after, costing yourselves 2 weeks ago with that Jacksonville game. Sorry about you. Costing yourselves one of the top 2 quarterbacks, because I don't think it'll be that one of those guys will be there in the draft by the time they're there. I believe it's 6. Then you would probably be wise to use that first round pick and then other draft capital to go get somebody who would be the best quarterback coming out this year if he was in the draft, because the class is just not that great. We've talked about the top 2. Then there's Dylan Gabriel, of course, Jalen Milroe, and Carson Beck. It's just not a great group, but an interesting conversation to continue on with as the Vikings this coming Sunday in Week 18 look to lock up the number 1 seed against the Detroit Lions and get themselves that first-round bye for the playoffs. It's Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPN app. Courtney Cronin, Myron Medcalf, presented by Progressive Insurance. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. I've been having you guys weigh in on social media all morning, having you hit us up on the Dr. Pepper call-in line. The boldest predictions in sports headed into 2025. You got to bring it with these guys. There's one currently on my screen in bold, so it seems like the natural place that I should go. So Ryan in North Carolina, you are on ESPN Radio. Does this have to do with a sports prediction, or does it have to do with something else?
It has to do with something else. Myron has brought up a plight that a lot of the men on America lack, and that's the lack of beard growing.
Yep.
So I had an idea. Instead of locks for love, we do beards for bros.
Okay.
Men grow beards, you shave them off, and then we send that hair off, and you put together a beard, and now you have beards for bros.
Like a donated beard. So like somebody would donate their beard to me?
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
How's
I like that idea.
Now that's a Shark Tank idea.
I like that idea.
This is getting picked over. Getting picked over the White Sox.
That's more than
Hello,
that's
Sharks.
the natural look, right? Ryan, I like the idea of that. Someone donates their beard to me. I like that.
I mean, is that sanitary? At least for locks of love.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
You're getting clean hair.
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks
Can't
real.
imagine dudes like shaving their beards and like trying to like capture in a little container to send. That sounds not sanitary.
It might not be.
Sorry, Luis Robert. We got beards for bros.
I think it's better than the $13 Amazon option, though. It feels like maybe that's better.
I'm just worried about what the glue would do to your skin. That's like the people who glue toupees to their head. And wigs. That doesn't seem doesn't seem sanitary. But hey, I mean, if you guys want to keep weighing in on that, maybe you know more than we do, and you can prevent Myron from having to go to go to like the lengths that he's hoping to go to be able to get facial hair. Myron, more power to you.
Sad. It sounds so sad.
It's all right. You're winning in a lot of other areas. 888-SAY-ESPN.
That sounds worse.
888-729-3776.
At least you have a good personality.
That's basically what Courtney said. Like, cheer up, kid. You're a nice guy. What? I want a beard.
I mean, there's a lot of like really like good-looking professional athletes, actors, all these people who don't have beards. Like, you're not like in like bad company.
It's true, but I'm not a professional athlete or an actor.
Well, they put you on TV today, so I think you're doing something right.
That's true.
Your boldest predictions headed into 2025, and if you got some beard advice, I'll take those calls too. That's coming up next on Sportsmanlike ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game. The electricity, the atmosphere. Bowl season continues today with the ReliaQuest Bowl, followed by the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl and Fiesta Bowl in the college football playoff on ESPN Radio. This is Freddie and Harry.
I believe they can contend, but I think the ceiling for them is the NFC Championship game. And it's because you're dealing with a quarterback in Sam Darnold who has not been to the playoffs, who's not experienced that setting. And as great as Kevin O'Connell has been able to coach him up, will Sam Darnold in the playoff setting resort back to what Sam Darnold used to be?
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. The college football playoff has arrived. Georgia versus Notre Dame.
There's a different feel to the playoff.
Boise State versus Penn State.
The stakes get much higher.
Oregon versus Ohio State.
The intensity that gets ratcheted up.
Arizona State versus Texas.
The magic continues.
The college football playoff quarterfinals.
You can feel the electricity.
New Year's Eve and New Year's Day on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
ABC Hockey Weekend is back.
There's going to be stars everywhere on the ice.
Saturday, the Rangers.
Artemi Panarin, he's a game changer.
Visit the Capitals.
This is the best goal scorer the game has ever seen.
Then, Sunday, the Blue Shirts conclude their road trip in Chicago. That's hockey. ABC Hockey Weekend presented by Expedia. Rangers Capitals Saturday at noon Eastern. Then Rangers Blackhawks Sunday at 3 Eastern on ABC and ESPN Plus.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
Touchdown!
The electricity, the atmosphere.
This is why you do what you do.
Bowl season continues today with the ReliaQuest Bowl, followed by the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl and Fiesta Bowl in the college football playoff on ESPN Radio.
It's the beauty of college football.
I'm Michelle Steele, hosting ESPN Daily this week. Every weekday morning, we bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. We're revisiting one of the biggest stories of the year via our 5-part series, Death of a Sports Town. In episode 4, we explore whether leaving Oakland for Las Vegas makes any sense for the Athletics. That's ESPN Daily. Follow us and listen wherever you get good podcasts.
ABC Hockey Weekend is back.
There's going to be stars everywhere on the ice.
Saturday, the Rangers.
Artemi Panarin, he's a game changer.
Visit the Capitals.
This is the best goal scorer the game has ever seen.
Then, Sunday, the Blue Shirts conclude their road trip in Chicago. That's hockey. ABC Hockey Weekend presented by Expedia. Rangers Capitals Saturday at noon Eastern. Then Rangers Blackhawks Sunday at 3 Eastern on ABC and ESPN Plus.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle.
No Evan, no Canty, no Michelle. They're probably off getting a beard transplant. Or at least 2 of them would. Actually, no. Does Canty have a beard? Canty's doing good in that department.
Canty has a beard. I think it's.
Courtney Cronin, Myron Medcalf. All the good vibes here on an Unsportsmanlike ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. You can also watch us over on ESPNU this morning. The show is always presented by Progressive Insurance. Been asking you guys to weigh in on your top sports predictions. Bold, capital BOLD, sports predictions for 2025. I need you guys to bring it. Like, some of these are kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not calling this guy out, but Rob Welcher, appreciate you listening in on the show. The prediction, the 2025, the Royals win the AL Central and make some noise in the playoffs. Like, Rob, I love you, but, like, the Royals were 86 and 76 last year. They were tied for second place in the division. Like, what would be bold would be the White Sox in that same division going from 41 wins to somewhere in the 90 range and winning the AL Central when you've got to play against teams like Cleveland. And obviously what the Tigers did to get in this postseason this past year was just awesome. But bring me the heat like that.
But just to be clear, you still think it's bold that the 15-1 Kansas City Chiefs would win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, because it's
right.
NFL history hasn't happened.
Yep, sorry.
It's never happened.
We're right, you're wrong.
Makes total sense.
60 plus years of NFL history.
888 say ESPN 888-729-3776.
365 days of history. They just did it.
Dr. Pepper call-in line is open. We've got loaded phones. Matt in Virginia Beach. Make it bold. Your 2025 sports prediction is?
The Bengals make the playoffs, and we have a rematch of the Bengals-Rams Super Bowl.
Matt, thank you for following the assignment and understanding it, because that's bold. The Bengals right now at 8-8, and Pat was just like dunking all over me, like falsely accusing me of saying things I did not say yesterday about Burrow getting into the MVP race, like legitimately contending, not just being third, but winning it over Lamar or Josh Allen. But getting a rematch of the AFC, do you say rematch of the AFC Championship or Super Bowl against the Rams? Okay.
Yeah, Bengals-Rams, he said, yep.
Can you imagine? I mean, there's no Aaron Donald on that team anymore, so they can't have the game wrecker in the critical moment of the fourth quarter. If Joe Burrow gets this team into the playoffs after everything they went through, the tumultuous start, the defense that reached historically bad levels for that franchise, and to do it as the 7 seed, nobody's wanting to play that team.
No.
Like that, if that team wins a playoff game, they'd probably end up being, like, if I'm looking at it in January and that happens, if they go on the road, and where would they be playing? Buffalo in week 1 of the the wild card round. You can't tell me that they would not be like in Kansas City for the AFC Championship again.
And Kansas City wouldn't want that to happen, right?
Absolutely
I mean, the one team that doesn't fear Kansas City and Kansas City is Joe Burrow and the Bengals, right?
Yeah, you just don't get him into field goal range based off a stupid rule that shouldn't exist about pushing a guy out of bounds. Isaiah in Wake Forest, good morning. You are on Sportsmanlike. Happy New Year's Eve to you. Happy New Year. 2025 bold sports prediction. What direction are you taking us?
Happy New Year to you guys, too. My bold prediction is that next season, the Carolina Panthers will win the NFC South and make the playoffs, but they won't just go to the playoffs and get blown out by somebody. They're going to win a playoff game. I don't know if I'm not saying they'll win the Super Bowl yet, but I think they'll make the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Isaiah, reasonably bold. I love that prediction, because there's difference between bold and delulu. If Isaiah said that this Carolina Panthers 4-win Panthers team would go from that to winning a Super Bowl, that's different. But no, I mean, Bryce Young, and I know that was a blowout, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers put up 40 on Carolina the other day, but Bryce Young has played better as of late, and I'm honestly surprised about it. Like, when I look back at the things that happened in the 2024 NFL season, him getting benched early on in favor of Andy Dalton and then getting his starting job back, I didn't think it would turn out this way, where you could actually salvage a quarterback's career by doing that.
Yeah, and we'll find out how committed they are. But, yeah, it's been a fun story, and I think that's a pretty bold prediction.
Bobby in Georgia, Dr. Pepper call-in line. The floor is yours. Where are we going with your bold prediction?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I actually have 2 predictions. One's bold, one's kind of crazy. The first bold prediction is that the New York Jets will definitely pick up Rex Ryan, and they will sign Kirk Cousins and lead them to a playoff, maybe even a win.
Whoa.
The second one is a little bit crazy. I believe that the producer, is going to stop passing off his ridiculous opinions as facts.
Oh yeah, that's reckless.
That's really crazy. That'll never happen.
No, that's hell's gonna freeze over.
Stop hiding from the truth, Bobby.
Let's address the first one, and then Pat, you can weigh in on that. But Rex Ryan to the Jets. Obviously, he's our colleague here at ESPN. He's been on Countdown for a while. He's made it clear that he wants to get back into coaching, and I get that. Who would be the top candidate for the Jets? Like, do they have to go offense? Do they have to go defense? They have so many needs. They don't know who the quarterback's going to be next year, because I don't feel like Aaron Rodgers is a lock by any stretch to A, keep playing, B, be their quarterback. What do they need? It just feels like they've got a culture issue in New York and problems that extend far beyond the roster. Is it right to do the redux? Is it right to go back to somebody who you had before? And obviously we know Mike Tannenbaum, who's our ESPN NFL front office insider, is helping lead their search for a new general manager. So clearly they're trying to run it back based on who they know and what those people know. To sign Rex Ryan as your head coach and then Kirk Cousins, that pairing, I don't know if it would work. Yeah. It's certainly spicy.
No, it is, and I think you said the right word, culture. Like who can create a new culture? I think that's the biggest thing that Dan Campbell has done in Detroit. is just rebuilt or even really built a culture there. And I think you need someone to do the same thing in New York. The Pete Carroll to Chicago stuff doesn't make a ton of sense to me with guys like Ben Johnson sitting right there. But Pete Carroll to New York or someone like that would make more sense, because you got to bring in somebody I think is proven that a lot of those young guys will respect after what they've been through the last couple of years.
On Sportsmanlike, ESPN Radio and ESPNU, he's Myron Medcalf and Courtney Cronin. We're sitting in for Evan Canty and Michelle on this New Year's Eve, going through our bold predictions in the sports world for 2025. Mark in South Dakota would say we could do the Beards for Bros conversation here, but go ahead and give us your sports prediction for next year.
My bold prediction for 2025 is Tiger Woods wins a major and Keegan Bradley picks him for the Ryder Cup team.
Hey, Mark, we appreciate the call. Does that fall
That's
into
bold.
That's bold. It's not delusional, because Tiger, I mean, hell, he made the cut for the Masters this past year. That might actually be the boldest one, Mark. I think that you gave us like the true winner, because Tiger is never. He keeps enrolling in these events. He keeps showing up, and I can't fault him for it. We've heard him say like his body can't play or can't function at the level that it used to. On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you give that like for happening? The bold scale.
Yeah, 2 to 3. Yeah, I wonder if his kid will place top 30 in a big event. I think that's a bold one, but that's a good one, because I think Charlie Woods is certainly the next in line and could eventually be the next face in golf. There's another bold prediction for you. Probably won't happen in 2025, but we shall see. All right, CFP quarterfinal action kicking off tonight. We get you ready for the matchups coming up next on Sportsmanlike, ESPN Radio, ESPNU.
Did your holiday shipping let your customers down, or peak volumes too much to handle? Partner with ShipBob for better order fulfillment in 2025. ShipBob fulfills orders for you, whether they're from your website, retail partners, marketplaces, or social channels, and delivers affordable 2-day shipping from dozens of fulfillment centers across the U.S. and worldwide. Plus, our dashboard lets you view real-time inventory levels across all your locations and channels. Go to shipbob.com for a free quote.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
ILLINI. Cheer on the Illini and Pia's. The pregame fun starts at Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Pia serves up its famous 10-ounce Slugger Burger along with great wings and so much more. Enjoy 350 22-ounce light and course light drafts every home and away Illini game. Watch the game at Pia's or ride the free shuttle to all home games. You'll find it all at Pia's with live video gaming, sports, food, drinks, and fun. See you at Pia's, West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Illini fans win free tickets. Stevie J Broadcasting has teamed up with Express Employment Professionals, your local link to top talent opportunities. Text Illini to 217-359-2255 for your chance to win tickets to upcoming home games. That's Illini to 359-2255. Express Employment Professionals, respecting people, impacting business at 1001 North Mattis. Express Employment Professionals says go Illini. Visit expresspros.com.
Season's greetings. This is Janelle Adams from Prospect Bank. Sometimes the perfect gift is simply sharing a smile, and donations don't always have to be grand gestures. These small tokens show appreciation and will bring a world of happiness to a stranger. Remembering those who are less fortunate during this time of year could be the perfect encouragement needed to support your local food pantry and other civic organizations. Happy holidays from all of us at Prospect Bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
You in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenics Total T.
I've heard about Nugenics. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenics, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text EDGE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenics Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text EDGE to 42424. That's EDGE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and on ESPNU. Georgia versus Notre Dame.
There's a different feel to the playoff.
Boise State versus Penn State.
The intensity that gets ratcheted up.
Oregon versus Ohio State.
The stakes get much higher.
Arizona State versus Texas. The college football playoff quarterfinals. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
It all starts tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Radio. ESPN Radio has you covered for bowl game action, corner to corner. We actually have it starting earlier than that. I just can't read a tease properly. But we've got the ReliaQuest Bowl, followed by the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. And you can end your day with the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, which is the CFP quarterfinal game between Penn State and Boise State. Coverage all day begins 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Courtney Cronin, Myron Medcalf with you on Unsportsmanlike, ESPN Radio, and live over on ESPNU. This show, as always, presented by Progressive Insurance. Pleased to welcome in our good friend, ESPN Radio college football analyst Max Starks, who's on the call for the Verbo Fiesta Bowl tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. And Max, Myron and I were looking through the bracket about these college football playoff quarterfinal games, who has the easiest path, what Penn State did in the first round against SMU. If I were to tell you that I think of any of the teams remaining, Penn State has the clearest shot to get past its first two-round matchups and then get to the national championship, given what they have to encounter potentially in the semifinals, you would say what?
I would say that is probably, I mean, on paper, an easier task than I think most. I mean, it's definitely a path that, you know, if you are Oregon, it doesn't look as clean. You know, that one seed doesn't look as shiny as you probably would have hoped it to be. You know, Georgia, not as easy a path either. So I would say Penn State probably on that lighter side, but you know, one of the things that's going to be tough is I think this Boise State team, I think, is a bit more problematic than people kind of want to give them credit for.
Max, you have the Carson Beck injury. Gunnar Stockton comes in. How does that change this matchup against Notre Dame and Georgia's ceiling?
Well, I think it changed significantly because none of us know Gunnar Stockton, and really Gunnar Stockton hasn't really had significant playing time except for a half of football, really, in the SEC championship game against Texas. So, you know, for Georgia, who, when we look at them this year, and I've had them a couple of times this season, slow starters. And, you know, it takes them a while to get warmed up, and they're a second-half team. And, you know, I called the Indiana-Notre Dame game, and watching Notre Dame comes out the gate firing. And they are not shy. They score points. They have a very stingy defense. Their secondary is one of the tops in the country, you know, especially with the health of a guy like Xavier Watts, Jordan Clark and company. That's a lights-out crew. So, you know, I'm looking at it like I don't know what to expect for Georgia. So their ceiling kind of is unknown, I really think.
Max Starks, ESPN college football radio analyst. He'll be on the call for the Verbo Fiesta Bowl tonight. I'll get back to that matchup in a second, but I did want to say, based on what you were talking about with Notre Dame's defense, I'm an Indiana grad. I went to the game. I was thoroughly disappointed at what we saw, but that defense to me looks like it can win a national championship. And yes, there have been some moments, the quasi shootout they got in the first half with USC in the final week of the season, but then you're seeing like Army holding them to 14 points, Virginia, Florida State, Navy, even Louisville, which was finished as a ranked team. Is that defense, like, what can that defense do to Georgia, knowing that Georgia's kind of got to change its identity or at least make a pretty significant shift on offense, knowing that it won't have Carson Beck out there?
I mean, I think for Georgia, it's going to really be, can we actually, be a very adept passing team, with a new guy at QB1? Can Gunnar Stockton deliver the goods in the air? Because, we know what the ground game is. We know what that offensive line is for Georgia. They know who Trevor Etienne is. But what does the aerial game look like? And like you said, I mean, I think Notre Dame's defense is that good. They could win them a national championship. And Riley Leonard, just has to be efficient, doesn't have to press. I'm not necessarily sure that I think Notre Dame's a team that can play from behind, but with the defense that you have, I don't think there's many opportunities for them to really play from behind except for going and matching a score, no more than a score. So, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I think that's what really makes this game really intriguing is you don't know what Georgia can do, and I think that can be a blessing and a curse for a Georgia team that, every time you see them in this type of environment, you kind of know what to expect. And this year has kind of, been a different way. They haven't been the most dominant team in college football. They haven't been an Oregon-type team before. This team has won off of a lot of, opportunistic play, a very stout defense that has gotten them the ball back and given them more bites at the apple, so to speak. That's really how the Georgia offense has been. It's had more possessions than the other teams, and I think it's kind of willed its way through adversity to getting into this situation versus just being a clean, stellar offensive and defensive team.
Max, Penn State has to go through SMU and Boise State to get to the semifinals. Texas has to go through Clemson and Arizona State. But if you're Oregon, you got to beat Ohio State again. If you're Georgia, you got to beat Notre Dame. What would you do about the current seeding system in this playoff going forward?
I think once, you have who your top 12 are, the 12 teams, I think you then have to then reseed all of them again. Because, I mean, they kind of did it quasi, given the top four conferences the bye that are champions. But I think you really have to reseed it and really get to a better system that you reward that top team. Because, like you said, Oregon gets the number one seed, and like you said, you have a challenge. You got to hit Ohio State, and if Georgia, you're the quote unquote number two seed, having to see Texas again potentially. It doesn't make sense. You need to mix it up even a little bit more than that. So I would say you have to then truly reseed the 12-team field.
Max, the matchup that you are on the call for tonight, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Penn State, Boise State, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our coverage beginning on ESPN Radio. We know that Ashton Jeanty has some personal pride on the line, wants to prove to people that he should have been the Heisman Trophy winner. Now he gets the national stage to show people all that he accomplished in his 2024 season at Boise State. But this is a really good Penn State run defense. How do you see strength on strength clashing tonight in Arizona?
Well, I really think the biggest thing is going to be the premier matchup for me that I'm going to be looking at is this offensive line for Boise State. They're the ones that are going to be, quote unquote, the maitre d' or the door escort person, however you want to look at it. They're the ones that are going to create the lanes for Ashton Jeanty. And then, of course, Ashton Jeanty then has to deal with Abdul Carter. He has to deal with Kobe King, right? He has to deal with the rest of this defense. But it's really going to come down to, I think, Cage Casey, the left tackle, who's the second-team All-American for them and has been a fantastic offensive tackle, one of my favorite offensive tackles really this year coming out for the draft. And I want to see how, Durant and then Devon Thomas are going to do against Mason Randolph and Roger Carrion on the offensive line. I think how the Boise State offensive line goes is going to really help how Ashton Jeanty is able to go, because that's the thing. The offensive line has been stellar. He gets to the second level, and that's where his yards after contact really kicks in, because this offensive line has been solid on the defensive line of locking up. Great job with, developing their double team blocks and getting up to the second level, the way that they pull and kind of create the edges to get Ashton, some flow lanes. So I think it's really going to come down to that, and I can't wait to see this, because I think this is an opportunity for that Boise State to really go on that national stage and show everybody, hey, don't forget about us. That team that you're talking about that's undefeated, that's number one in Oregon, that everybody thinks is a favorite. We went toe-to-toe with them, and if we don't give up special teams touchdowns, it could be a different game. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with them and only lost by 3, whereas Penn State, on the other hand, lost by a touchdown against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. So this is one where I don't know if it's necessarily as wide as everybody kind of makes it out to be.
Cam Scottaboo has a lot of confidence for Arizona State right now. What are the chances that he can lead his team to an upset over Texas?
I'll tell you what, Myron. I'm not betting against him. As a guy that lives out in Arizona, has seen that team twice this year. I saw them in the loss in the Cincinnati game when they went to the East Coast and played them in an early kick window, and then calling their game in the Big 12 championship. Cam Scottaboo's a man, and it's going to take a lot of effort to take him down. And he's not one that's gonna go quietly. So this is going to be a challenge. And I think with the young quarterback in Sam Leavitt, Sam Leavitt plays really, really well, and he's a quick decision maker. Now, I think the one thing that is going to be tough is obviously you want that air game to match the ground game a little bit and kind of be a steadying force. Sam Leavitt has had to throw the team out of a couple of those 8-9-man boxes, the heavy boxes with the one-on-one opportunities, and losing Jordan Tyson is going to be, something that they're still trying to, deal with life this season without him. But I think Xavier Guillory and Malik McClain have been some nice, fine additions that have kind of helped them. And, of course, Mateer, their tight end, has been good. But, yeah, Sam Leavitt's going to have to help, Cam Scottaboo out. But Cam Scottaboo, you have to remember, is one of the tops in the country. Him and Ashton Jeanty, yards after first contact, they are the kings. And so if you're Texas, you've got to tackle him in waves. It's not going to be a single tackler that's going to stop him just like Jeanty. You're going to have to bring 1, then 2, and 3 in succession, because it's going to take about that many guys to take him to the ground. Low to the ground, great contact balance, and is explosive after that first contact.
Max Starks is our ESPN Radio college football analyst. He will be on the call for tonight's Verbo Fiesta Bowl between Boise State, the 3 seed, and Penn State, the 6 seed. But I would be remiss if I did not ask you about one of your many other jobs as the Pittsburgh Steelers sideline reporter. 3 straight losses for Mike Tomlin's group. They go into the final game of the season. They're already in the playoffs, but probably would be nice to not have this losing streak go from 3 to 4. Can you put your finger on what's gone wrong for them in their last 3 losses and how they fix it?
Well, I think one of the biggest things has just been those 3 games happened within 11 days. It was a very, very brutal stretch. And, oh, by the way, nobody had a tougher slate of games. When you think about 3 games in 11 days, let's just take Baltimore, for instance. Baltimore had the Giants, then hosted the Steelers at home, and then went to Houston for the Christmas Day game. And, let's just face it was not the toughest slate on the front and the back side of that with the teams given. But for the Steelers, you have to go on the road to Philadelphia. You have to go on the road to Baltimore, and then you host Kansas City. You have 3 of the top 5 teams in the NFL that you're facing, and, oh, by the way, 2 of those are on the road, and you're going to see Baltimore in a short week. That was just a brutal stretch. And, a lot of injuries. Number one tackler on our team and Deshaun Elliott not present for those first two games against the top two running backs in the league in Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. And you also were missing a starting defensive line. So, really it was just attrition, a lot of injuries there, and, trying to get things going in that type of environment, short weeks. I just think, it was a fatigued team at that point. The one thing I do know, and, being a former Steeler and also working, the sidelines for the team, this team, when given a rest or given a break, comes out of the gate screaming, and getting the 11-day layoff between games, and now drawing a Saturday night 8 p.m. kick game against Cincinnati, who has to win it to get into the playoffs again. It turns into a playoff environment really quickly. So I think they can knock off the Schneid, because you will get some guys back that are healthy. Now, Joey Porter Jr. is not going to be a guy who's going to be available to you. But, I think with getting Deshaun Elliott back, getting him healthy, getting Larry Ogunjobi on the defensive line back is going to be a good boost defensively for the squad. And Corey Trice, who they've gotten back from injury as well, is going to help that defense out. And then offensively, getting George Pickens back now for a second game in a row is going to bode well for Russell Wilson and the offense.
Max Starks, he does it all. ESPN Radio college football analyst. He's also on the call for Steelers games every week on radio. Max, we appreciate it. We'll be watching tonight. Thanks so much for the time.
My pleasure. Y'all have a great day.
You as well. 7 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN Radio, Penn State and Boise State in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. And the schedule for the rest of the week. Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day, the granddaddy of them all, the CFP quarterfinal, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the CFP quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential, and then the All-State Sugar Bowl ending the night. Love college football season, and if you love it, you want to be stuck with us right here on ESPN Radio, because we will have the latest from all angles over the next couple of days. All right, so we were just talking about the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, and James Franklin and his future certainly come into the mix about what happens if they lose this game, but also what happens if they win and have a clear path to the semifinal. Does James Franklin, of any coach remaining, have the most to prove? We discuss next on Sportsmanlike ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Unsportsmanlike. I can see the attendant looking how to spell Bentley.
Honda may be easier.
Ford. I'm not trying to put it out there, but I played 11 years in the National Football League. I ain't played nothing.
Unsportsmanlike. More coming up next.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321-321. That's BIKE to 321-321.
In 1925, a small plumbing company began its journey in Urbana, Illinois. Over the decades, the business grew thanks to hard work and great people. In 1966, things changed when Dave Reichard, a veteran, met veteran Ken Asklin, who was an architectural engineering grad from Illinois. The two realized their shared vision for excellence. Their partnership took root, and in 1975, the name changed to A&R Mechanical. With Dave as president and Ken as vice president, A&R Mechanical expanded services, becoming the go-to full-service contractor for all of Central Illinois. A&R went from a plumbing-only contractor to a full-service mechanical contractor with their own sheet metal shop. Today, A&R is a plumbing, heating, ventilation service company with the same excellence in customer service as they provided nearly 100 years ago. Design, build, and maintain. That's what served A&R Mechanical for nearly 100 years. Find them at Lincoln and Kettering in Urbana or online at ar-mech.com.
Hello, my name is Amber Oberheim, and I am a family nurse practitioner at OSF Healthcare in Monticello. The United States appears to be on track to experience a typical respiratory virus season this year. The CDC is predicting that combined peak hospitalizations from COVID-19, influenza, and RSV this fall and winter will be similar to or lower than last year. The best way that you can protect yourself from the flu is to make sure that you get vaccinated every year. All Americans ages 6 months and older are recommended to get a flu shot. Younger children and older adults are most at risk of serious illness from the flu. Another effective way to prevent respiratory illness is to make sure that you have excellent hand washing. If you do start feeling ill, I recommend that you stay home to prevent infecting others and reach out to your healthcare provider to get tested. COVID-19 and the flu can present similarly, and it's important to make sure that you have the right treatment options available. At OSF Healthcare, we're doing even more to help you be the healthiest you. Learn more at osfhealthcare.org.
The Nate Evans Group, eXp Realty. So you got an office right across from the fire station in downtown Mahomet.
Yep.
And that Nate Evans Group has some great energy when you walk in that building, because you guys are moving and shaking. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think that was the culture we were looking for. We wanted to be a younger demographic of vibrant agents and brokers. We wanted to make sure that we brought that energy on our listing consults and things like that. It's not fun to go to work in a stale environment, and we want to create the idea that we can still have fun, have a real edgy feel to our marketing with a still professional approach with something that's taken so serious.
239-7113 is the number for Nate Evans, or you can go online to nateevansgroup.com. I know that if I want to sell my home, Nate Evans is the man.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to the nateevansgroup.com.
I'll circle back to this, but there's this idea that Ryan Day's safe now, Myron, because he won the Tennessee game in the first round. They were at home. 30,000 some fans came up from Knoxville and were wearing orange in the sub-zero temps. And Ohio State had no question, or she had no issue with playing the Vols. And because he avenged, if you even want to call it that, he avenged the Michigan loss 4 straight with a win in the college football playoffs to get one step closer to a national championship. There's some people who will say he's safe. Now, on the other side of that, there's James Franklin, who I don't know if he's ever really been in true hot seat territory at Penn State, but it also feels like this is somebody that we let get off scot-free a lot of times. He's never won the big one, yet we continue to throw his name in for big jobs whenever there is an opening. We continue to say, him in the same sentence as some of the best coaches right now in college football because his team is in the CFP. Where do you fall on this? Is there anybody else who has more at stake than James Franklin right now throughout the remaining 3 rounds if they get to the national championship?
Yeah, I stand on being tired of talking about James Franklin because I never understand the conversation about what he's done to warrant a place in the conversation among some of these top teams that we discuss. I'll give you just numbers, right? Because let's just talk in fact. 1-14 against top 5 teams.
Yep.
3-19 against top 10 teams. 13-28 against top 25 opponents, 4-17 against Michigan and Ohio State. If the idea, Courtney, is that Penn State wants to be an elite program, then how is this your head coach? And this year, there's a path where if they lose tonight, there should be a serious conversation about James Franklin's future. I'm not saying that'll happen with the $50 million buyout, but there should be. You get SMU and Boise State, that's who you have to beat to get to the semifinals. If they fail tonight, why is he still the head coach at Penn State? He has not shown up in big games. He hasn't been competitive against top 25 teams. None of this makes sense to me when it comes to James Franklin as to why he's still the leader of Penn State football.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because I don't really know what the natural replacement would be, who that would be, because he is one of the bigger names in college football. Maybe it's because he's been at a handful of Division I, high-level Division I programs, even though you consider Vanderbilt a high-level Division I program. Do you consider Penn State? I know Penn State's a brand, but what have they won in recent history outside of, the Joe Paterno years? That's kind of where I go with it, that he's good, and they're okay being good enough. They're okay being in the big dance, so to speak. They're not necessarily clamoring, or it's not the end of the world if they don't win a national championship. But given the path that you talked about, the SMU game was no contest. That game was over at halftime. The game was over after the first quarter, after Penn State, or after SMU's quarterback threw the ball twice to the other team. Now, it's not to like slight what Boise State's been doing, but they are a group of 5 school. This is supposed to be a David versus Goliath sort of matchup where you have Drew Aller and this offense coming in looking about as high-powered as they have under James Franklin's direction as the head coach. If they lose tonight, the heat gets turned up pretty measurably. Like, I think for Ryan Day, we've given him a pass because you beat an SEC team and you hosted a playoff game in the first round, so you didn't get the bye like like Boise State had, and now you have Penn State going to play Boise State at a neutral site game. Because Ryan Day's already checked that one box, it feels like he's out of the conversation now, thus why all of the attention shifts now to James Franklin.
Yeah, no, we've had a lot of Ryan Day discussion, and that win sort of gave him a grace period. Also, his AD coming out and saying he's good kind of silenced that conversation about his future. But, James Franklin, it's being set up for him to succeed, to get into a playoff, and then from there, I think Oregon's a really good team, yeah. Ohio State, pretty good team, yeah. But you don't have one of those 2015, 16, 17 Alabama teams, right? Or the Georgia team that went back-to-back, winning a national championship. So it feels like tonight you win, and there'll be a lot of critics maybe who back off for a while. But if they lose, Courtney, I just don't know how the conversation doesn't go to what is his future at Penn State when you consider the fact that he has not been competitive against good teams throughout his tenure. And this is the easiest path to the college football semifinals in the new format.
Yeah, and I feel for Penn State fans because you go back to that Ohio State game from November, and the only touchdown they scored came off of a pick six. And you mentioned the numbers, 3-18 against top 10 teams in the AP top 25 poll, 1-10 against Ohio State, 8 straight losses since Franklin got there in 2014. And up until this point, 0 trips to the college football playoff. Now, maybe because he's there, he gets credence now of, look, I got us there in the extended format. But the buyout part, like, how much did you say that was?
I think it's like $53 million.
That to me, like, regardless of what happens, that's the holdup because no booster base is going to want to pay that. And, teams like Nebraska, when we've seen them go through this repeatedly, oftentimes that bill is just too expensive to want to continue to do it. And you want to make sure it can shrink. So maybe you sign up for another year of James Franklin. But if I'm him, I don't feel like I have much pressure on me going into tonight, knowing what's at stake on the other side of this and just how expensive it would be to fire me if they end up losing to Boise State. But of any of the teams remaining in the CFP, I think you could either say Texas or probably Penn State as the easiest path to get there to the college football playoff semifinals, which would be next week. All right, straight ahead. Can Arizona State pull off the big upset over a Texas team that many think have a clear path to be playing Georgia again in the national championship? It's on Sportsmanlike, ESPN Radio, and ESPNU.
It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
Electricity, the atmosphere.
Bowl season continues today with the ReliaQuest Bowl, followed by the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl and Fiesta Bowl in the college football playoff on ESPN Radio.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
Hey Illinois, get the ultimate winning combo with Circa Sports and Rosati's Pizza. Download and fund the Circa Sports Illinois app with just $20 and you'll score a free pizza. Bet big and taste the win with Circa Sports and Rosati's. It's sports betting the way it should be. Visit circasports.com/Rosati's. Must be 21 or older. Exclusions may apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Illinois basketball star Merez Johnson on managing partner at Sarah Champagne, Ben Quattrone.
Ben Quattrone is a great guy. He's like an uncle to me now, a great character person. Sarah Champagne is like a family. Talk to the people that work here sometimes, just to talk to them, and they helped me when I got my car deal. It was very helpful. It wasn't like I was like here all day, like I was bonding with people, have a conversation with them. They're there. Oh, I love my car.
Learn more at sarahchampagne.com. That's SERRA champagne.com.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
Illinois basketball season is underway. Single game tickets to see your Fighting Illini at State Farm Center are on sale now at fightingillini.com. Great seats are still available. Lock in your tickets for big games against Big Ten opponents before they're gone. Don't miss your chance to see the winningest team in the Big Ten Conference over the last 5 years. Be part of the atmosphere and get tickets at fightingillini.com.
Hi, this is Troy Lands from Lands Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. With colder temperatures here, let's make sure your heating system is operating at its best. At Lands, you can join our comfort family and get exclusive savings and support to keep your heating system in tip-top shape this winter and all year round. Our plans offer tune-ups, discounts on repair, and even lifetime system enhancements. Plus, we back up our equipment with labor warranty when we install it. Find out more about our comfort family maintenance plans at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
You can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Come on, Mufasa. Let's get in some trouble.
This holiday season, destiny awaits you. You can grab your friends and experience Mufasa the Lion King in 3D.
Everything the light touches belongs to me.
You'll have to take it. Don't miss the perfect family Christmas movie.
Now went swimmingly, if I say so myself.
Disney's Mufasa the Lion King.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
Now playing only in theaters. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Tickets on sale now.
Hey, I'm Brett Podolsky, co-founder of The Farmer's Dog. We make fresh food for dogs. We started the company when we saw what a huge difference it made in my own dog, Jada, when she stopped eating ultra-processed kibble and started eating fresh, whole food. The Farmer's Dog food isn't fancy. It's just real food delivered to your door in pre-portioned packs. It's better for them and easier for you.
Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/trial50. That's thefarmersdog.com/trial50.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Courtney Cronin, Evan Canty, and Michelle are not here. Myron Metcalf also with me. They will be back later in the week to help you break down the entire college football playoff quarterfinals slate. Tonight starts everything Verbo Fiesta Bowl, taking place out in Arizona. That is Penn State and Boise State. Then tomorrow, our slate kicks off 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Texas and Arizona State. The Longhorns coming off the first-round win over Clemson, who's 12 seed, to get into the quarterfinals. Jake Plummer, former NFL and Arizona State quarterback, going to be joining us here momentarily or I believe he actually is ready. Thank you so much for updating that for me, Pat. Jake, how are we feeling going into this game tonight?
We're feeling good. Arizona State has been kind of a quiet, competitive, getting the job done team this year, and they found themselves with a bye and into the 4th seed and looking to play a talented, very, very solid Texas Longhorn team. So I think they're over the moon right now, feeling great, but also very focused and determined to not let this be the last game. And very excited, as an alum and someone who played at ASU and took them with a lot of other great players to the Pac-10 championship and the Rose Bowl with national title implications. It's awesome to see them back doing this, really making history as the first college football playoff that we've seen, and we're all excited as Sun Devils, definitely.
Jake, I hear Cam's got to be talking, man. He's certainly confident. How real is that confidence?
He impressed me a couple years ago at a practice I went to in the spring. When you're a football player, you see guys and you see them going through the motions, or you see them out of practice and they're practicing and they're there. This kid was doing everything. The running backs were all injured except for him. He took every single rep. He was hustling, finishing downfield, sprinting back to the huddle. The kid never stopped, and right away I knew there was something here, something special. And I remember he was overlooked and came from a small college to get to ASU. So this is a guy with a chip on his shoulder who's this year, was very solid for the team all year, made some huge plays throughout the season. Late in the season, scored 3 touchdowns, I think, in the last 3 games, if my stats were right. Like, he produced. So it's not just him talking. He's actually putting it out there. And, of course, when you talk, you make that target a little bigger. And there's a Texas defense you're going to face. It's a solid crew. You better be ready to go. But he will be. And I think that he's a tone setter from the moment, like I saw him at spring ball practice and even last year watching Sam Levitt at practice. These guys, it really matters to them. They're there not just for the NIL and all this, other parts of the game that are now trickling into it. They're there because they want to win, and they're there with passion and with their heart to do something and do something special. And I love Scatterbo. I think he's a all-around great running back, not just running the ball. He's got great hands. He's a phenomenal protector. He can speak. He can talk because, to me, he's shown it.
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Texas, Arizona State, 1 p.m. on New Year's Day on ESPN Radio. We're talking with Jake Plummer, former NFL and Arizona State quarterback. You mentioned those words like overlooked, underrated, and I think of an Arizona State team that was picked, I believe it was 16th in its conference this past year in the preseason, and then to see what Kenny Dillingham has done with his squad this year. As an alum, how does that hit you just about where Arizona State has gone and how sustainable that's going to be in this mix of CFP teams and favorites going forward?
Yeah, who knows? It's been a historical season all around. ASU is now in the Big 12. That was different. We just got used to saying Pac-12 instead of the Pac-10, and now they're moved into the Big 12. So not knowing anything or not really knowing what that was going to look like, and them not getting much respect preseason, all those polls really don't matter. Those guys making the polls, they're not in the building. They're not there watching the team work. They're not around understanding, what's going on. It's just a prediction, and it was fuel for their fire. It definitely motivated them to go and have the season they've had. They just kept winning, and that's the thing. They were quiet while, a lot of eyes were on other teams, even most notably where I live in Boulder on the CU Buffs. There was a lot of people watching that team while quietly ASU was just winning ball games and finding ways to stay in the game and find a way to win. I was at the Kansas game, the first Big 12 game in Sun Devil Stadium, and that was a great ball game. They just they found a way to win, and Kansas didn't want to lose either, and it was a great victory for them, and I think it showed them that, hey, we can play with any team in this conference. So for them, they've been overlooked. What does that mean for them? I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. I know what it's like, though, from my time when, we had Nebraska coming to town, that big victory that everybody talks about in 96. we were being overlooked. And I think we were overlooked by even some of our fans, and even some people that were maybe in the building didn't think we could win that game. But us as players, we had the confidence. We knew and we trusted in each other that we would come ready to play and prepared. And I think that's what happens. I think this team is very close. They're connected. They care about each other. And Coach Dillingham has done a great job of bringing in the right mix of players that really want to go play ball. All the other stuff is now something they have to handle, but let's play ball. And I think that this team has put themselves in this position to make history again, and what a great time to do it. The first ever college football playoff with the competition, with the portal and all this stuff. I mean, it's a great time that ASU has put good timing to put this season together. Can they sustain it? I hope so. I think Kenny doesn't want to go anywhere. He loves it there. He's born and raised there. He was going to the games when I was playing, so it's something that he's longed for a long time, to be the head coach at ASU and to have this success right now, and the Valley buying in and people supporting the program. I hope that they can get back again. Will they be the fourth-rate team and doing it next year? I don't know. I'm not too concerned about that right now. I just am excited to watch them play the Texas Longhorns and hopefully some find a way to win and move on in the college football playoffs.
Jake, I wonder how you would have handled sort of the postseason in this portal era. You've got, guys who are opting out of some of these games. You have Cam Ward, who didn't play the second half of a matchup against Iowa State. How would you have approached the postseason with the team having a chance to compete and win a national championship?
Well, if it was the chance to win a national championship, there's no way in hell I was going to come out of that game, no matter what. I mean, I played in the Shrine and the Senior Bowl after going to the Rose Bowl, knowing that I was probably going to get drafted, and everything looked good for me to go and play at the next level and get that opportunity to. I still played in those games, and the reason why is because I loved football. I loved to play the game. The game was what it was all about, getting in there and learning who your teammates, learning about them and competing with them, and getting to know them and really giving them the love they needed and caring about them and just all that goes into football with coaches and the preparation and the work. I loved playing ball. So I really doubt that I would have ever done that, because I would have had a hard time being the leader all year and then stepping out at the last minute. Just wouldn't feel right for me. Whether it was the right thing by all the people advising you or not, I just wouldn't feel right looking at my teammates after telling them and pushing them and being the guy that's behind the hard work. It would be hard to not go finish out your season and finish it out. So it's a different era, though. I don't know. At this point, people forget I was on a team in Arizona State my sophomore year that went 3-8. Yeah. And in this day and age, at 3-8, we would all been gone, probably out to greener pastures. So it's a different landscape. We spent 4 years building what we did in '96 and going to the '97 Rose Bowl. Kenny's built this really in 1 year. You getting the right signal caller was huge, and Sam Levitt, he's a dynamic player. He can do a lot with his arm and his legs, but he's a leader and he's passionate. And then having a guy like Scadaboo, a tone setter, and then putting together a defense with a scheme with a lot of guys you can't name a bunch of their names, but they play hard and they play together. And so he's done it in a year. And that's the nature of the game now in the college, is you're going to get a lot of players coming in, new players coming in, and you got to figure out how to have that chemistry. And it's a different landscape, but definitely fun to watch. And all in all, I'm just really excited to see ASU in conversation.
Jake Plummer, former Arizona State quarterback, also played for a handful of teams in the NFL. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Denver Broncos. You played for them from 2003 to 2006. Bo Nix has been taking the rookie quarterback class by storm. Fun to watch him and Jaden Daniels jockey back and forth. What have been your impressions of seeing him get this Denver team to the cusp of the playoffs right now as that 7 seed?
Yeah, it's been really exciting. The Broncos country for 10 years, I think it's been without the playoffs, and that's unheard of. When Mr. Bull and the previous owner, I think he had 300 wins in 30 seasons. It was like the playoffs were just part of the deal when you went to the Broncos. And that's why I went and played there. And to see them get back to it is definitely exciting. It's fun. And Bo is awesome. What a player, what a competitor. He's passionate. He brings everything you want to the table as a quarterback, tough and confident, and also, one with the guys. And I haven't been down there a lot, but what I hear is that, everybody is behind what he's doing because it's real and because it matters to him. And he's got to watch this year go has been kind of fun because you see him. I think he was shackled a little bit, and I'm, kind of limited to what they wanted him to do early, so that, hey, Bo, just do your thing, just play, don't hurt us. And he went off, and that's when I think that argument happened with him and Sean Payton, and things changed after that because there's a kid who's lived his life to be in this position, have a dream to play in the NFL, and he knows he's there now. Let's do it, and he's doing it. He's doing it really well, and that team really is flourishing, not only from him, but a lot of other players that are stepping up and showing leadership finally. And I think that's what that team has lacked. And I hope that, hopefully they'll get there. That Bengals game was tough. I would have liked to have seen them go for 2 and just put a stamp on it right there, like we're in the playoffs. But they didn't. So now, it comes down to the last one. If they can win, I think they're in. And it's going to be fun to see how Bo responds, because so far this year, he's really responded well to all the pressure. He stepped up as a rookie. I can't believe he's playing, this well as a rookie. Him and Jaden Daniels both. I mean, it's amazing to see these kids come in so prepared and ready to step into that next level. And also the coaches around them, you got to give them, the credit to put them in those positions to do what they do well and keep pushing them throughout the year to get better at what they maybe don't do extremely well, but to continue to improve. And, Broncos country's excited right now because we're in the playoff talks.
Yeah, currently as a 7 seed, they host the Kansas City Chiefs, closing things out Week 18 at Mile High. They win that game, they head to the playoffs. So some exciting times for the Denver Broncos. Jake, amazing stuff. Thank you so much for giving us some time this morning, and enjoy the game tonight.
I will. You guys enjoy it. Have a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. That is Jake Plummer, former NFL and Arizona State quarterback. And, of course, I'm talking about tomorrow. My days are a little off because it's that weird time in between Christmas and New Year's where time is a construct. But I just want to let you know, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the CFP quarterfinal, happening tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you can hear that coverage right here between Texas and Arizona State on ESPN Radio. All right, straight ahead. Going to give you our final thoughts on 2024. What a year it was. But first, I've got this from Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats, your ultimate football destination for all the gridiron action with a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets. They'll make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. See every tackle, toe drag catch, and touchdown live and in person from your favorite seat, plus every ticket backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Do not miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This show and all of ESPN is streaming live on the ESPN app, featuring ESPN Plus, the streaming service powered by ESPN. From live events to original programming, download the ESPN app and sign up for ESPN Plus today.
Brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Jeff in Cleveland.
Man, y'all guys, man, I swear, man, it is amazing, man, how much y'all guys love and much joy y'all bring to people. Harry Douglas, you's a maniac. You said a PP man. Harry, you a fool, man. You said a PP man. Stand up. Man, y'all guys, man, I swear, y'all the best in the world.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I'm Michelle Steele, hosting ESPN Daily this week. Every weekday morning, we bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. We're revisiting one of the biggest stories of the year via our 5-part series, Death of a Sports Town. In episode 4, we explore whether leaving Oakland for Las Vegas makes any sense for the Athletics. That's ESPN Daily. Follow us and listen wherever you get good podcasts.
The college football playoff quarterfinals kick off on ESPN. New Year's Eve, Penn State and Boise State battle at 7:30 p.m. Eastern in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Then a New Year's Day tripleheader. At 1 p.m. Eastern, Texas takes on Arizona State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. At 5, Ohio State seeks revenge against Oregon in the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. And at 8:45, a battle in the Big Easy as Notre Dame faces Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl. The college football playoff quarterfinals, tonight and New Year's Day on ESPN.
Amber and Ian.
I appreciate the Beatles' Happy Birthday song from the most overrated band of all time. But let's move on. Ian Fitzsimmons.
Hold up, Coach. Most overrated band of all time?
Did you hear that song that Rachel played? Like, that's the greatest song ever. Like, this is the greatest artist to ever live. Or the, like, what?
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio. It's bowl season on ESPN Radio. 25 bowl games, including the college football playoff and national championship game.
Touchdown! Electricity, the atmosphere.
This is why you do what you do.
Bowl season continues today with the ReliaQuest Bowl, followed by the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl and Fiesta Bowl in the college football playoff on ESPN Radio.
It's the beauty of college football.
You could just watch ESPN, but why not tap in? Tap into all your sports in one spot with the ESPN app. Tap into articles, analysis, and content with ESPN Plus. Tap into who's who and who should be in your lineup with ESPN Fantasy.
What a monster week we saw.
Tap into all the, and never miss the
breaking news.
Because once you tap in, you're tapped in. ESPN.
Bam!
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Hard to believe that it's December 31st. Where did the year go? I feel like as I get older, I say that with more fervor every single year, and I freak out. But
are you two okay?
I have no idea.
No, I don't think we are.
You guys just spent that whole commercial break complaining. Are you okay?
I don't think. But no, I was laughing because I think Courtney said she needed. What'd you say for your hip? Like WD-40? And what'd you say?
We were talking about, like, this shift, because Myron and I are filling in on Unsportsmanlike for Evan, Canty, and Michelle. And both of us are on Central Time. So by the time we get off, we're loopy because we've been up since 3 a.m. getting ready. And I think I'm on my, 30th cup of coffee of the day. And we were talking about, could we ever handle a real 9 to 5? And I said I couldn't be chained to a desk. I think I'd be terrible at that because, Cam, can you give me the word again? Is it sedentary or
sedentary? You've nailed it every time.
Sedentary.
Yeah.
That means sitting.
Yes. Just not moving a lot.
So I'm sitting in my chair because it's my home setup. Myron's at his home setup in Minneapolis. Yeah. I'm in Chicago. And every time I get up, because I have hip flexor issues from years of sports, it makes me, I need a little WD-40, a cortisone shot every time I every time I sit up. I can't help it. I'm old, Myron.
I'm older than you. Courtney, I played in this media game a couple weeks ago in Charlotte. I stretched for 2 days. I don't know, and it still didn't hurt.
You were hooping?
I hooped. I got one rebound, and then here's when I knew I was done. This dude, wait a minute. No, this dude I was guarding did the fake pass to the right. I was so far right. I was almost to the 3-point line, and all I heard was, ooh. He drove the other way. I was way out of the shot somewhere because he pump faked on me. So, no, I definitely get it. No more basketball for me.
So you didn't? Did you even get a shot up?
I bricked a 3 so bad, and here's the thing. They weren't guarding me at all. They were let him shoot it, and it was so off.
And they were right.
And then
let him shoot is the worst thing to hear in sports.
I got one rebound, and that was it. The whole game, I got one rebound.
Let him shoot. They were so right.
Dude, this dude faked me. He almost faked me out of my shoes, man. Everyone's like, ooh. I was like, what are they oohing about?
Your feet?
No, I like stumbled. No, I didn't. I was like stumbling to the right, trying to hold my balance, and then he went the other way.
I'll show them. Clank.
They're not gonna let me play again, I don't think.
They barely let you play this time.
How old are these people that you were playing with?
No, like my 20s, 30s, 40s, some of them, but some of them like play.
These like what, like former D1 athletes?
A couple of them, a couple of them were, and then like it was like an ESPN thing. Like the Joel Berry played in it, from North Carolina. Guys like that played it. I'm not that.
Yeah, I've never played in like a media pickup basketball game or football or anything like that. I've always wanted to, but it's probably for the best that I don't, that I stick to talking about sports.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think my joints probably appreciate that too.
Yeah. One rebound.
Was that your top?
And I was trying hard.
Was that your top sports moment of 2024?
It probably was. I was trying so hard to get a rebound, and I got one.
That's your top sports moment? That sounds like the worst sports moment of 2024.
I mean, I'm 41. Hiking? I've done some hiking and stuff. That was probably my most athletic thing that happened this year.
Did you shoot a paper ball into a trash can at some point?
I got the ball at the 3-point line, Courtney, and they all backed away. Nobody closed out at all. They were just all waiting.
Dude, that would hurt my feelings. I would try to Euro step my way into the lane just to prove a point.
I can't do a Euro step. I can't do an American step, let alone a Euro step. With these knees.
I changed what I was going to say. I was going to say, give you my top sports moment of 2024, but that takes the cake. And I wasn't even there for that. I didn't get to witness that. I watched a Hail Mary tank a season of the team that I cover and ignite it for the Washington Commanders. Javante, you saw the Pistons win a game and break the longest losing streak, consecutive losses in NBA history. Anybody else got anything quickly here before we get up out of here?
Mike Tyson's interview where he turned around and walked away and his butt was hanging out. This is better than anything that happened in that fight and beyond.
Who let him wear those shorts, man?
Like Myron would have given the same interview after the basketball game.
Who let Mike wear those shorts, man? No. Where's the rest of them? We can see you.
Happy New Year. Be
Way
safe
too much.
if you are going out tonight. Do not drink and drive. We'll see you in 2025. College football playoff action coming your way next. ESPN Radio.
Texting and to reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321-321. That's BIKE to 321-321.
Ever wonder why you pay your bank to have a checking account? Fisher National Bank does too. You see, they offer free rewards cashback checking that gives you cash back on debit purchases, no service fees or balance requirements. Simply make 12 debit card purchases, receive electronic statements, and have one direct deposit in a monthly cycle. It's so simple. Reward yourself today with rewards cashback checking. Learn more at any branch or FisherNational.com. Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
Find the look you love for less at Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Explore their wide selection of quality pieces, from cozy sofas to exquisite dining sets from all the top name brands. With personalized service and expert advice, their team makes finding the perfect piece effortless. Create the home of your dreams with Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Exceptional customer service and the best prices since 1959. Stop by today or visit them online at kelseyfurniture.com.
Jets is hiring. Call 217-352-9992 or stop into 1907 West Springfield Avenue near Round Barn in Champaign. Jets is open till 10 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays till midnight. Are you looking for a side hustle? Here's Josh from Jets talking about the benefits of doing deliveries.
When I was a delivery driver, it was amazing how much the actual amount of money I had just shot right up. It's hard to describe. You have money in your pocket every single day.
For details on joining the team, visit jetspizza.com.
Did you know that routine maintenance on your furnace helps improve air quality in your home? Along with making sure your furnace is operating at maximum efficiency, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing wants to make sure your home is as comfortable as possible. Voted People's Choice #1 HVAC and plumbing company for the third time in 4 years, let the expert team make sure you'll be warm all winter long. Call 217-841-4728 or visit dogtownheatingandair.com. Book your appointment today. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Hello, my name is Amber Oberheim, and I am a family nurse practitioner at OSF Healthcare in Monticello. The United States appears to be on track to experience a typical respiratory virus season this year. The CDC is predicting that combined peak hospitalizations from COVID-19, influenza, and RSV this fall and winter will be similar to or lower than last year. The best way that you can protect yourself from the flu is to make sure that you get vaccinated every year. All Americans ages 6 months and older are recommended to get a flu shot. Younger children and older adults are most at risk of serious illness from the flu. Another effective way to prevent respiratory illness is to make sure that you have excellent hand washing. If you do start feeling ill, I recommend that you stay home to prevent infecting others and reach out to your healthcare provider to get tested. COVID-19 and the flu can present similarly, and it's important to make sure that you have the right treatment options available. At OSF Healthcare, we're doing even more to help you be the healthiest you. Learn more at osfhealthcare.org.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise